Dating nightmares, am I right? We've all been there. Now, how's there hair in my mouth when my hair's in greasy braids? Tell me that. Riddle me that. I matched with this super hot MILF. Oh, I love the drama already. I'm so excited. Well, I got so excited because it's a MILF. You know, the tea, it's just a little spicy. About 2 years ago, and she invited me to her fancy house in this posh area. We were having a nice date, drinking rum and chatting, but there was no real sexual tension in the air. Oh, okay, well that just killed, I thought this was going somewhere else. After a while, she asked if I wanted to go to the bedroom. We're back in it. I was hesitant, but followed her in. Then she opened her closet, took out a formal shirt and trousers, and asked if I would wear them for her. I thought maybe she's into having sex in formal clothes, so I agreed. Then she asked me to leave the room and pretend like I was coming back from work. Was she setting up like a little role play? At that point, I didn't understand what role playing she was trying to do and asked her about it. That's when she told me that exactly a year ago on that day, her husband had her husband had passed away in a car accident while returning home from work. I didn't know what to do and apologized to her, telling her I wasn't comfortable with it. It was just too sad. Oh my God. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. Oh my God. Oh my God. I hate everything that just happened in the last 30 seconds. Oh my God. No. Oh no, I was so excited because I thought it was just like a juicy, spicy story. No. Oh my God, that's so sad. That's really sad when we take time to think about, oh my God, she had him in his clothes and pretend he was coming home. Oh my God, my heart. Bless her. How do I move on from that? Wow, I really regret how I reacted in the first half of that story. Talk about a plot twist. Dead seriously, he asked me, do you want to summon a demon with me sometime? And looked genuinely hurt and perplexed when I said no. Like, not really. That's not what I like to do in my free time, so I'm gonna pass on that, but have fun. Like, there's weird, but then there's being weird in a weird way. You know, I'm weird, but I'm not weird in a weird way. That's the best I can say. And if you get it, you get it. I matched with this girl a few years ago and we got along very well. We spoke for several weeks on text and then decided to get a drink together to get to know each other. Her family was out of town, so she asked if I wanted to come over for a drink. That's bold. You're inviting a stranger over to your house and no one's there to hear you scream? I went to her house late at night around 10 p.m. Are you crazy? She lived in one of those very sophisticated buildings with a lot of security, so I figured that was probably why she was okay inviting a total stranger home. Okay, things were a little awkward at the start, but as we drank, I started to open up more. Later in the night, I asked her how come she was so comfortable calling a stranger over. I'm glad I'm not the only one. She said she had something to show me and pulled out a knife hidden under the sofa we were sitting on. She then began taking out knives from different corners of her house, including from behind framed paintings and the television. She had at least 5 of them hidden away. I freaked out but tried to play it cool and left soon after. But later, I realized that though it freaks me out, it was probably something she had to do to ensure her own safety. Yes, but also, we could just meet in a public setting in the daytime. That would be great. That would be lovely. I hope we're all learning things out there, you guys, for first date, safety precautions. Whether you're male, female, it doesn't matter. We need to be safe, trust no one. Matt was a stranger. And where did I meet him? We had a mutual friend. So I actually went to her house and then he picked me up from her house because they grew up together. So it was and then we went out in public setting. When I was about 18 years old, I met a guy at a mutual friend's party and we hit it off pretty well. He was fresh out of a serious relationship though, which should have been my first red flag, but I was young and naive and he seemed nice. So I decided to give it a try when he asked me out. Happens to the best of us, you know? We went to the movies for our date. During the movie, he proceeded to literally scoop me out of my seat and put me on his lap, not once, not twice, but 3 times. I would awkwardly scoot back over to my seat and he would continue to try and tickle me, ew, or hold me in some weird way between these scoopings. Nah. Nope, it was way too much and super creepy. He drove me home afterward. This is when I learned that I should always drive myself to first dates. Yes. And I barely waited for the car to stop before getting out and running back into my house. He texted me shortly after, calling me his oyster. I ended up blocking his number and there was no second date. Ew, girl, I get you're young, but we can't be scared to say stop. You know, he's 18, he's a kid, he's probably like, ooh, sit on my lap, this is so cute, okay? Yeah, you know, high school stuff, sitting on laps, holding hands, kissing a movie day, okay. No, after the first scooping of me, I'm putting an end to that right then and there. I would literally say, stop, that's enough, I'm good over here. That's probably why I didn't have many dates in high school. I had a date with a guy who seemed nice and down to earth. Toward the end of our date, he stated he wanted me to change my major to education so I could homeschool our children. There was no second date. I don't know if people think like that's romantic on a first date to like start talking about marriage or our future, our kids, because they're like just playfully saying they like you and things are going well, but that comes out creepy. It comes off weird. I don't know you. I don't want to think about your child growing within me on a first date. I went out with a girl one night and after dinner, she drove me up into the mountains. I was new to this area. After a while, when there was no more lights, she started talking about serial killers. I still remember her saying, I used to think about getting away with stuff like that. Okay, well see, all right. Y'all are gonna think I'm gonna be like this because I watch a lot of them and I promise I am normal and I'm level-headed, okay? You don't see me saying, well. I might crack a joke or two. I'm just kidding. I've never said that in my life. But Matt is always like, you watch a lot of true crime, like should I be worried? He's watching it with me. Like, let's not pretend it's just me. That's creepy. The driving part would be enough for me. If I start driving into the mountains, like, have you seen Hills of Eyes? Take serial killers out of it. Mid-date, he placed his hand on my stomach and said, my son will grow here. Like, I would feel violated by that statement. Completely grossed out. Never speak to me again. Don't even breathe near me. Look the other way. And I would want to erase that from my memory. In college, I was set up with a friend of a friend. We had dinner and he insisted on paying. Since it was a setup, I felt better about splitting the tab. But since it seemed very important to him, I let him pay. Afterwards, we went to get coffee at the shop where I worked. I ordered for us because I had my employee discount. And when he tried to pay the $4 cost, I said, I have to pay to get my discount. He grudgingly backed down, but when I brought over our drinks, he handed me a $5 bill to reimburse me. No, it's on me, I insisted, but he put the money on the table and said he'd leave it there if I didn't take it. His reason? Men wear the pants and women wear skirts, and that's just how it is. There was not a second date, though I did have to chat with him at my friend's wedding years later. Well, see, it started off okay. And I was like, all right, you know, he's just set on paying. He wanted you to feel special and he wanted to treat you. And then he ruined it. And then he ruined it with one simple statement. You just, yeah, you had to ruin it, didn't you? One time I went on a date with this guy I'd known since high school and I was already nervous because he was a jerk in high school. When he picked me up, he mentioned how nice I looked and talked about how much I was going to love the restaurant we were going to. It ended up being amazing. But then he got a call from a weird number, went outside and left me there for about 5 minutes. Then he came back and said he needed to confess that he actually had 15 girlfriends because one was not enough. How do you have the time? I was completely over the date at that point and said we needed the check. He said he would cover for me, but first he needed to use the bathroom. He actually left and I had to pay for everything. Last week, he called me saying how much he missed me and asked me to meet him at a coffee bar to talk about our date from last year. It turned out it was a prank and he didn't show up to meet. So yeah, you showed up to meet? Hold on. Excuse me. Okay, girl, we need to talk. Okay, we need to talk. You were still gonna show up to that a year later being like, you know what? He deserves more of my time. He really does. I'm not trying to kick you when you're down. That's mean, but I gotta be the, the true best friend that gives it to you real. He never deserved a second chance. He did not deserve your time. I am bisexual and recently went on a date with a guy who asked me how my experiences differed between dating men and women. I said that with men, there's a strong element of fear, and unfortunately I have to be aware of how wrong things could go. He then proceeded to make jokes about how he was going to chop me up into little pieces for the rest of the date. I'm not even there. I wasn't even on that date and I'm uncomfortable. Well, you asked a question. I gave you my honest answer, and maybe that's just his sense of humor and he's a great person. He's like, oh, I was just, not on a first date, not on a first date. She don't know you. She'll know your sense of humor. You know what I mean? I've seen that a lot. In a lot of these stories where guys make jokes about being, oh, what do you think, I'm a serial killer? Don't make those jokes. There's way too many true crime documentaries out there for that to be funny anymore. I would literally report you if you said a joke like that to me. Guys, I have a problem with true crime. It cannot be good for my mental health. It cannot be good for my mental health. I'm aware of that, but I'm not gonna stop. Anyways, on a positive note, since I'm talking about killers, we're gonna cheers to something more positive today. Drink some water because it's good for you, and I hope you're having a great day. And just remember, you're beautiful. And I love you. Cheers. And don't be a serial killer. Because a serial killer out there is gonna watch this and be like, oh, because she said not to, I'm not gonna. I went on a Tinder date with a guy and mentioned my friend by name. She has an uncommon name and it turned out he'd been going out with her regularly. Then he said, it's only weird if you make it weird. No, it's weird. They weren't exclusive, but that doesn't mean it's not weird. Yeah, that'd be weird. 100% that'd be weird. Like, if they're still going out, that's weird. If it was a long time ago, we might be able to look past it, but no. I matched with this guy on Hinge and we hit it off immediately. We had very similar music tastes and even made each other special playlists. After a week or so, he asked me out on a date. He was a perfect gentleman and didn't try to hook up with me, so I felt like maybe this could be more than something casual. We had 2 more great dates, after which I slept with him. I had to go out of town for work for a few days after that, and we didn't really keep in touch. When I got back and hit him up, he answered enthusiastically and asked if I was down to go to a music festival that was 5 hours away because an artist we both loved was playing. This is sounding magical. At the fest, things seemed a little off, but I tried to brush it off. About an hour before our favorite artist was to go on, am I tipsy? I was tipsy and leaned in for a kiss. He stopped me, looked me in the eyes, and then broke the news. He'd met someone else while I was away and didn't want to be with me anymore. Which would have been fine, except when I asked him why, he didn't just tell me this before we traveled to an entirely different city. He simply said, oh, I couldn't find anyone else to go to the festival with, and I didn't want to come alone. Awesome. That'll make you feel like $1 million. Why even text me back? And you found someone within how long did you go for? Out of town for work for a few days after sleeping with you? He found someone? All right. I went out with the cousin of a good friend of mine. My friend hyped this cousin up so much and said he really thought we would hit it off, so I was low-key excited about it. We went to a hookah bar and he got absolutely wasted. He kept touching me and was really close to my face to talk. I was so uncomfortable and wanted to leave, but didn't know how to go about it. He even asked if he could come back to my place to smoke, but I knew he wanted it to lead to other things, so I tapped out. My friend apologized and said that his cousin gets like that when he drinks too much. I was so angry. A warning would have been nice before I was groped all night. Ew! Ugh, I hate anyone who's too touchy. Even if they're too drunk and it's all innocent, I don't like it. I went on a date in college with a guy in my apartment complex. He called me Laura the whole time, but my name is Lisa. And he forgot his wallet after ordering the most expensive item on the menu and several drinks. There was not a second date, and it was super awkward seeing him at the community pool all summer. Ooh, that would be really awkward because you know you're gonna run into them. You know you're gonna run into them one way or another. Oh, there was this guy in my building at the gym who kept coming up and talking to me. And I was like, oh God, I feared he was gonna ask me on a date. And he would only talk to me when I was alone. Like when Matt would go to the gym with me, he would see, and he would never approach me then, but anytime I'm alone, and I really, really hope he doesn't see my videos ever, or ever figures out that I do YouTube and sees this very moment, because that'd be very awkward. I was newly single after a bad breakup and wanted to date a bit, as we do. While we were at dinner, I mentioned that I was not really into PDA. I am very affectionate, but not in public. As we were heading to the car to go to the next place, he kissed me. That was fine. It was nice. We got to the next place, an after party where I knew a lot of people, and he kept wanting to make out with me. I told him I did not like making out in public, especially in front of all these people I knew. But he kept trying to make out with me. I couldn't wait to get out of there and get to my car. You gotta set boundaries, you know? And some people don't like respecting those boundaries. I totally get some people are really into PDA. They have no problem making out in front of people, whatever. And others, not so much. So everybody's different, and you just gotta respect that. I told this guy I played the piano, and half an hour later he said, if I wanted you to always remember me, I'd break your ring fingers, you know, cause then you don't heal, cause they don't heal well, and then you'd always think of me while playing. Safe to say I left the restaurant fairly quickly. That's so beyond disturbing. How does your brain even think of that when someone's like, oh, I play piano. Oh, you know what? Like, how do you even think of that? This whole video has just creeped me out, you guys. We all need to stay safe. I'm not even dating, but I feel like I need to stay safe. I feel very unsafe in this moment. Okay? So stay classy, stay sassy, and stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow.